What is up, guys? Welcome to episode 16 of the LBank Show. I'm your host, Muhai. Today with us, we do have an amazing project, and you did see the announcement on our Twitter, right? We do have one and only Cardano Foundation today for episode 16. I'm more than happy to bring you guys closer to Cardano to see what has been happening in the past few years and what is next to come for Cardano. My guest today is a head of integration at Cardano Foundation, and his name is Jide. He's been in the crypto industry for such a long time, and he will be perfect for today's session and show for talking about Cardano Foundation. So, Jide, none other than less, can you hear me well? And hi, welcome.
I can hear you very well. How's it going?
It's going great. I mean, thank you so much for accepting the call and coming on the LBank Show. We are very honored to have you as the head of integration at Cardano Foundation, and we will be more than happy to bring Cardano more to our public and community. And thank you so much for accepting the call, man.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm super happy to
Indeed.
be here. It's the first time that we're doing something like this with LBank, so it's always a good initiative, to work with centralized exchanges. So yeah,
We're
pleasure
very
to
happy
be
to be
here.
the first in this. Indeed. Indeed. So, Jide, usually this type of show that we have on YouTube is made up of three parts. The first part is what has been on your mind recently. The second part is like the question that I have some question for you, and third part is a closing part. So, the first part is what has been on your mind, Jide. What has been on mind of Cardano team?
Um, that's a very good question. I think what has been on my mind recently is adoption and education. How can we foster more education in terms of teaching regulators and policymakers about how blockchain works, and also just educating the masses about the potential of blockchain and cryptocurrencies, because till today we still see issues around people referring to blockchain as a bubble and all these sort of jazz. Whereas, the blockchain utility on its own has a lot of different use cases that could potentially change the lives of a lot of us. So that's what's really has been on my mind for a while now, on how we could, you know, improve education and therefore improve adoption.
That's amazing. I mean, I know that you guys are keep building. If it's a bear market, you guys did keep building and bringing the Web 3 world to Web 2. So I'm very honored to have a chat
Exactly.
with you guys. Anyway, I mean, so some of the questions that I have for you is for our maybe newer audience who doesn't know anything about Cardano, but did hear. I mean, everyone in the world did hear more about Cardano. Like you guys are top 10 cryptocurrency in the world, so and blockchain top 5 blockchains in the world. So that speaks for itself. So I really want to know, can you give us a brief explain what Cardano is and what sets it apart from other blockchains? We have a lot of them in the industry.
Yeah, I know. So, okay, thanks for the question. So, Cardano is an open source decentralized public blockchain, which utilizes a proof of stake consensus mechanism, which is obviously energy efficient and secure. So, Cardano blockchain aims to provide a platform for building decentralized applications and smart contracts while fostering financial inclusion and social empowerment. So, although I can't really provide much insights into other blockchain platforms, I'm well equipped to elaborate on the efforts undertaken by Cardano Foundation to propel the advancements of Cardano. So, the foundation has three core areas right now. The first area is operational resilience, which ensures the robustness and reliability of Cardano's infrastructure. For example, monitoring, bug bounty programs, etc. Cardano Foundation is committed to strengthening Cardano's technological resilience and preparing its infrastructure to serve as a critical enterprise technology. The second core focus area will be adoption. which basically establishes the prerequisites for enhancing blockchain functionality. Cardano Foundation strives to provide the adoption of blockchain technology by getting businesses, organizations, and institutions worldwide to start using blockchain technology while we also nurture the ecosystem's open source maturity, because open source is one of the pinnacles to adoption as well. And the last core focus area would be education. So, as aforementioned, education is one, if not probably the most important pillar out of the three of them, because without educating people, developers, enthusiasts, regulators, and so on and so forth, adoption of blockchain will be very minimal. So the Cardano Foundation contributes to educating about blockchain technology and promoting regulatory clarity. We basically play a very vital role in facilitating dialogue and discourse while backing research endeavors and effectively communicating the concept of blockchain and decentralization to diverse stakeholders. So, in a nutshell, that's who we are as Cardano Foundation, and that's what Cardano is as a blockchain.
I mean, thank you so much for that insight and explaining what Cardano is. Uh, but what was the main vision of Cardano when it was created, and how was that vision evolving over the time?
I really I like to tell this story because it's one of the reasons that actually made me get into Cardano in the first place. For all the OGs out there that know the Charles Hoskinson whiteboard video. So Cardano, in order for you to understand Cardano, it requires you to grasp the historical context. And that stems back to the initialization of Bitcoin, which is the first generation cryptocurrency. So basically, Bitcoin was created to address the need for a decentralized currency, eliminating the necessity of intermediaries for transactions. However, what it lacked was features for complex agreements, basically smart contracts. And that was what created the second generation blockchain, which is Ethereum. And Ethereum introduced programmable blockchain, enabling smart contracts and decentralized applications to be created, as well as being able to tell a story about a specific transaction. However, it also faced some blockchain issues, which was termed or coined as the blockchain trilemma by Vitalik Buterin, if I pronounced that name properly. And the blockchain trilemma was spoke about security, decentralization, and also scalability. And this is where Cardano emerged to address these challenges. And that's speaking of the third generation of blockchain. So Cardano was created to provide a more sustainable, scalable, and interoperable blockchain infrastructure that could facilitate secure and transparent transactions, smart contracts, and decentralized applications. So, as time had passed, obviously, Cardano's vision also expanded to include broader goals and more refined strategies. And the current vision places significant importance on governance and interoperability mechanisms, which are essential for the network to become self sustaining. So, with the implementation of a voting and treasury system, which is the governance era, participants will then have the opportunity to leverage their stake and voting rights to shape the network's future development. Overall, Cardano's vision now encompasses a wide range of objectives and challenges while remaining at the forefront of technological innovations. So, this is how Cardano came about, and these are the different verticals that Cardano are looking to solve in the blockchain industry.
Indeed, I mean, it's a great story, and the vision that you guys had in the beginning, and like you mentioned, it needs to evolve if the certain project want to grow. and what you guys did over the past few years is talking to itself. So, talking by itself. Pardon me. So you guys did a very, very, very much in the blockchain industry, and I can say in the name of whole blockchain world, I can just thank you for that.
We're trying,
Definitely.
it's we still.
Definitely, I mean, definitely. So, we all know that Cardano is well known for its strong emphasis on scientists, research, and peer reviews development. Can you explain how its approach influences the development and deployment of the new futures that might come in future?
Yeah, this is actually very, very important because Cardano's commitment to scientific research and peer review development ensures that new features are thoroughly researched, rigorously evaluated, and carefully tested to before being pushed out to the live network. So we believe that this approach enhances the reliability, security, and sustainability of the platform, basically benefiting users and stakeholders. Because even today in your regular software, you can't just deploy a feature to the mainnet. You have to follow a set of different parameters or set of different conditions before you're allowed to push stuff to the mainnet. And this is the sort of ideology that we follow in Cardano at the moment. So, how does it work? It follows a few steps. First of all, we need to do our rigorous research, right? To This has to be done before any new feature or protocol upgrade is done. Right. Obviously, it involves exploring various theoretical concepts, conducting experiments to understand the implementation or the implications and challenges that could be posed from this certain feature that we're looking to integrate. The second phase would be a peer review. So the experts within that field would evaluate the proposal, assess its validity, and identify any vulnerabilities that could potentially be there, and obviously act as a feedback loop to provide recommendations for said vulnerabilities that were found. And then the next step would be formal methods. So Cardano employs mathematical techniques for specifying and verifying the correctness of the solution. So formal methods ensure that the new features adhere to the defined specification and free from logical errors and behave as intended regardless of whatever conditions are set towards it. And then we talk about the deployment side on the testnet. So before deploying to any environment, or sorry, before deploying to the mainnet, we need to ensure and test that whatever feature we are looking to push out works as intended and has actually been rigorously tested by users in the public, by dApps, and also by the developers themselves to ensure that no unforeseen issues are uncovered. And then lastly, it would be a gradual phase rollout. So rather than just doing a big bang for a specific feature, or a specific feature that we're looking to integrate, we follow a gradual phase rollout scheme, which allows you to push out a certain change and monitor that change to ensure that it actually follows the idea of what you're trying to achieve. And if it does, then you can roll out the next phase and so on and so forth. So this is the sort of approach that we follow in order to ensure that we adhere to the scientific research and peer reviewed ideology that we've defined. For example, in August 2023, we launched the Cardano Explorer, which was developed by Cardano Foundation to support the development of a deeper understanding and wider use of the Cardano blockchain. I hope that answers your question.
Indeed, and I just want to like yeah, piggy right on that answer that you give us, and we did talk about the futures, how you guys undergo by the research. Cardano has, I must say that Cardano has undergone like significant upgrade in the past few years, such as Shelly and Alonso hard forks. So, can you discuss the impact of these upgrades on the network capabilities and its users and use cases?
So in 2020, the Shirley hard fork was completed. So yeah, about 4 years ago. Jesus, time flies. So the Shelley era encompasses the critical steps in the Cardano's journey to become or to optimize decentralization. So initially, the first era of Cardano is the Byon era, and that speaks of federated nodes, which means all the nodes that were used to mint transactions on Cardano blockchain, they were centralized. So the Shelley era introduced the concepts of decentralization. So as time went by, gradually, all the nodes that were used to mint transactions were then shifted towards being run by the Cardano community. So now most of the nodes, if not all the nodes in our ecosystem, are being run by the community. Shelly Era also introduced the delegation and incentive schemes, basically a reward system to drive stakepool and community adoption. So if you're a stakepool owner, you are able to run transactions on the network for people or delegators on the network. So delegator is an ADA holder that gives you the authority to mint transactions on your behalf. Because anyone that has ADA is able to participate as part of the or participate in the governance of the network. So after the Shelly era, we then moved on to the Goguen era, which is a series of hard fork events. And the first one was Allegra, then Mary, and then Alonso. These hard fork events introduced multiple concepts and a couple of programming languages. So what did they introduce? They introduced metadata, native assets, Plutus, and Marlow. So metadata helps you tell a story for a transaction. So say for example, I want to track a supply chain data, right? I'm able to do it using transaction metadata because within the transaction, I'm able to say the origin of that bottle of wine. I'm able to say how it was produced and whatever other information that is relevant to that bottle of wine. Most of the time, to avoid counterfeits, right? So in that metadata, I can have information that proves the origin of that bottle of wine. Then native assets, obviously, is like your NFTs and your fungible tokens. And so Plutus is a programming language based off ASCII and is the main language that you use to build smart contracts on Cardano blockchain. And the second language we introduced was Marlow, which is a high level domain specific language that was built for, let's say, non developers. We can refer to them as financial experts or business experts, people that haven't had any hands on with programming. So Marlow was built to help them to interact with Cardano blockchain with minimal programming skills. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Indeed, and it do. I have a question that is usually like a major challenge for the blockchains, and that is interoperability and scalability. And those are major challenges in any blockchain. So, how does the Cardano addresses these issues that we have?
So another thing that really, really made me go into the Cardano ecosystem was also the clearly defined roadmap. And as we've discussed, you would actually notice it from what I've been saying. So the first era was the Baron era, which was the federated era of Cardano. So most of the transactions were being minted by centralized nodes. Then we went to Shady era, where we introduced decentralization and this incentive mechanism. And now, in this conversation, we're in the Byron era, which introduces optimization of the blockchain. So this era focuses on scalability and interoperability of the network. And It basically improves the performance of the network to support adoption and high throughput of transactions. So I'll talk to you about two different hard forks that we've done since 2022 to facilitate, I suppose, interoperability and scalability. So we had a hard fork in June 2022 called the Vasil hard fork. And this hard fork integrated a series of Cardano improvement proposals, including standardizing reference scripts and inputs, optimizing cryptographic primitives like VRF and KES signatures, optimizing collateral handling in Pluto smart contracts, and introducing a new built-in function for data serialization and smart contract development. Cardano, IOG, and Emergo also executed a series of enhancements in 2022 and 2023 to increase Cardano's capacity and throughput while maintaining its safety measures. So what were the things that we did? We made changes to, for example, the block size. We increased the block size to have more transactions within the blocks. We introduced input endorsers, which improves block propagation times and throughput. We also introduced some offline solutions like sidechains and Hydra, which aim to optimize efficiency and scalability. And that was one piece that we worked on for the Vasil hard fork. Then the other side that we worked on was the Valentine's hard fork, which was released in February 2023 on Valentine's Day, funny enough. So this hard fork mainly focused on interoperability, amongst other things, but interoperability was the core thing here. And the purpose of this hard fork was to enhance our cross-chain interoperability by introducing built-in support for ECD SA and Schnorr signatures. So this update streamlined the process of verifying transactions involving other blockchains that utilize these signature algorithms, making it faster, easier, and more cost-effective for developers. Additionally, the upgrade aimed to bolster security by providing native support for these widely used signature schemes, reducing potential risk associated with cross-chain transactions. And overall, the Valentine's hard fork aim to improve Cardano's compatibility with other blockchain networks and foster greater interoperability between the broader ecosystem. So the next hard fork would be in the Vote era, which is the era we are now. And it will provide the final pieces required for Cardano's network to become self-sustaining with the introduction of a voting and treasury mechanism. Uh, just to add one more thing to optimization, we recently released Plutus version 3, which advanced the cryptographic capabilities of Pluto's core. And what this did was it introduced like best practices. It utilized optimal cryptographic algorithms, and it gave people or developers the capacity to migrate smart contracts from Ethereum and establish sidechain bridges. So this is very good because developers are now able to, I suppose, interact with Ethereum-based addresses and contracts, which is one of the key interoperability features that a lot of developers have been aiming for, and also what we've been aiming for too. Um, yeah.
So we did touch on the story and the upgrades that you guys had so far, and I mean, you did have some great upgrades to ecosystem. So while we are on there, I must ask about what are the most exciting projects that you currently have and being built on Cardano, and are they significantly will do for the whole ecosystem?
Thank you very much for asking that question. There's so many exciting projects on Cardano blockchain. To date, we have, last I checked, we have about, I think, over 1,000 projects that are being developed right now on Cardano. And there are over 100 that have launched so far. And these projects, I can't really mention names of projects because that might seem as favoritism. So I'd rather just talk about the industries. So we have projects that have been built around AI solutions, DEXs, telecoms, cloud services, meme coins, obviously, um, stable coins, book publishing. Um, Cardano Foundation recently built an identity wallet and also the blockchain explorer I aforementioned, which are massive for adoption. We also have amazing games with great graphics that have been built on Cardano blockchain. We have oracles and data feeds, NFT marketplace and infrastructure providers, real world asset solutions, index funds, derivatives, and so on that have been built on Cardano. So we have a wide range of diverse financial instruments and asset classes on Cardano. So
Thank you so much for explaining that. So, Jide, I must ask about Oroborus Protocol and its significance ensuring the security and decentralization of the Cardano network. Can we maybe touch more on that?
okay, yeah, thank you very much for asking that. So Ouroboros is, I'll start with like the inception. So Ouroboros is named after the symbol of infinity and is a proof of stake protocol that acts as a base and starting point for self-sustaining systems that continuously evolve and expand, replacing current systems, including financial ones, and decentralizing the structures of the power they depend on. So Ouroboros combines unique technology and mathematically verified mechanisms, which in turn combine behavioral psychology and economic psychology to ensure the security, reliability, and sustainability of Cardano blockchain or any other blockchain that utilizes this protocol. Because as far as I know, some other blockchains actually use Ouroboros as well. So in Ouroboros, time is divided into discrete intervals called slots. And each slot has a designated slot leader responsible for proposing the next slot or the next block, sorry. So slot leaders are selected randomly from the pool of stakeholders based on their stake weight and are incentivized to act honestly to maintain the network's integrity. The probability of a participant being chosen to create a new block is proportional to the amount of cryptocurrency they hold and are willing to stake as collateral, amongst other conditions. But that's the main one. This means that stakeholders which will have more coins have a higher chance of being selected to mint a new block. To prevent against adversarial attempts to subvert the protocol, each new slot leader is required to consider the last few blocks of the received chain as transient. And what that basically means is only the chain that precedes a pre-specified number of transient block is considered settled. So to ensure the sustainability of the blockchain networks using our bars, the protocol feature introduces an incentive mechanism that rewards network participants for their participation. So this can either be you having a stake pool or you're delegating your stake to the stake pool and you get rewarded in form of ADA.
Cardano do have a unique approach to governance through its treasury and voting system. How does that work? And why is it important for ecosystem sustainability in the whole?
So we talk about the treasury system and voting mechanism a little bit. So the treasury system allocates a portion of transaction fees, and other network revenues to a decentralized treasury. And this treasury accumulate the funds over time, which can then be allocated to proposals, projects, and initiatives that benefit the ecosystem. So, in a nutshell, the treasury serves as a pool of resources that the community can collectively manage and allocate based off priorities and needs of the network. So, the voting mechanism then comes in where stakeholders, including ADA holders and stake operators, have the opportunity to participate in the governance process by voting on proposals submitted to the Treasury. So these proposals can range from development upgrades to perhaps even marketing campaigns and other community project solutions. So each stakeholder has a voting power that's proportional to the amount of ADA they hold or represent to their stake pool. And what is the importance of sustainability in this scenario? There are multiple things that we can address. So we talk about community empowerment, we talk about resource allocation, adaptability, and innovation as well would be one more thing. So on the community empowerment side, we are basically giving the stakeholders a voice in decision making by basically telling them, okay, guys, you have the power to now determine how the Cardano blockchain is going to be developed. What's going to happen on the Cardano blockchain in the near future is going to be determined by the community, giving them a big voice. The resource allocation piece comes in as part of the treasury system, and that ensures that resources are allocated efficiently and transparently to initiatives that have been agreed upon by the ecosystem. Um, And then lastly, the adaptability and innovation side is the ability to propose and vote on changes allow Cardano to adapt to the evolving market conditions, technological advancements, and community preferences. Basically, this would give the ecosystem flexibility to promote innovations, be agile, and enable them to stay competitive in this ecosystem and responsive to also emerging challenges and opportunities that arrive all the time. So, to know if you really want to know more about the intricacies of how the governance model is going to be introduced to Cardano blockchain, I urge you to go to just Google Cardano Improvement Proposal and search for SIP 1694. That is the improvement proposal that would be used to build the governance process on Cardano blockchain.
Ghana has been involved in various social impact projects around the world. Can you share some of the examples and their impacts?
So, Cardano Foundation established a partnership with Veritree as its inaugural global impact challenge to support land and tree restoration efforts. This demonstrated how blockchain can provide practical solutions for climate change mitigations. In September 2023, we were proud to celebrate the planting and verification of the 1 millionth tree as part of the result of this partnership, which, in my humble opinion, is a great achievement. Additionally, our ongoing collaboration with Switzerland for UNHCR underscores our commitment to humanitarian causes. Through this partnership, 20% of staple rewards go to supporting UNHCR's innovation program, while the remaining 80% fund goes to the displaced individuals. Furthermore, our sustained progress in the Switzerland for UNHCR partnership is evident because the Cardano community raised around 5.2 million ADA to aid displaced populations. This project recently received recognition and won an award actually in the INATBA Awards in the Sustainable Innovation category, which is fantastic for us as a blockchain company. So to learn more about the Very Tree and UNHCR collaboration, we have put in, or we recently released our activity report for 2024, and we have an activity report for 2023. So if you want to know more about these initiatives, I urge you to read both reports, and you will get as much information as you want from there.
Amazing, amazing. So we did touch on the story behind Cardano and what you guys did so far, and especially the social impact projects, which are huge, one of the biggest in the whole blockchain industry. I must ask, what are the short terms and long term goals for Cardano, and what do you see as the biggest challenge facing Cardano in achieving widespread adoption, and how do you plan to overcome that?
I think we wouldn't like to see them as challenges, because by approaching challenges with a proactive mindset, we're framing them as opportunities and taking deliberate action to address them. We can then transform these obstacles into catalysts for growth and success. So the foundation has three main areas of focus: operational resilience, adoption, and education. Being operationally resilient would encompass achieving scalability, performance, verticals. Due to the numbers growing and on the blockchain, we need to be able to ensure that we manage it properly. Also, interoperability to enable seamless communications and asset transfers between legacy systems and also blockchain. And lastly, to ensure uptime and user experience is optimal amongst other verticals that are being part of this operational resilience. For example, bug bounty program would also be a part of operational resilience. Monitoring the node would also be a part of operational resilience, and other things of that nature. And education would basically, I mean, that speaks for itself, right? Educating policymakers and regulators to help us navigate the regulatory frameworks and ensure compliance, while also advocating for clear policies that allow developers to build effectively on the blockchain and help to foster innovation and adoption. Because when we have regulatory clarity, things can move smoothly, right? Um, yeah, that's it for that piece.
Indeed, indeed. So we know that the partnerships are crucial for the growth of the blockchain ecosystem. Can you talk some of the Cardano's keys partnerships and how do they shape the platform? I'll have you guys.
So, at Cardano Foundation, we work every day and night on getting the best partnerships with enterprises, institutions, governments, NGOs, agencies, and so on and so forth. Um, I could talk about two partnerships that have been very good for us, NTF, and has really showcased the utility of Cardano blockchain and blockchain in general. So the first piece I'd like to talk about is the Georgian wine. So we Cardano Foundation created a solution on Cardano blockchain that supports individual wineries by providing them with a shared scalable platform that is cost effective for winemakers and guarantees the authenticity of genuine wine produce for the Georgian wine specifically. Now we are aiming to scale that exponentially to thousands, hundreds of thousands of produce wines, of stores, and even different types of wineries as well. Secondly, the other partnership would be merchandise and epoch. So this solution was to give reassurance and confidence to customers that what they're buying is actually the real deal. And what we did was we integrated an NFC chip into the badge of jerseys in the World Lacrosse Championship, and 6,000 NFTs were minted for these jerseys, and those NFCs were in the badge linked to an NFT which is on Cardano blockchain that you can trace and you can validate that it actually comes from merchandise and epoch. So those two partnerships have been great to showcase utility of blockchain, and has been great for our ecosystem as well.
Indeed, some of the great partnership that you guys had over the years. So when someone new comes to Cardano or hear about Cardano, pardon me, what researchers would you recommend to learn more about the project? Is it just to join the community and take it from there, or
There are many different ways, different things that people can do to learn more about Cardano, and that's a very good question because people don't really know. They just Google stuff, and whatever comes up, that's what they focus on. Whereas we have the Cardano website, which is, or the Cardano Foundation website, which is cardanofoundation.org. That's www.cardanofoundation.org, and that will give you a good understanding of, you know, how we're set up in Cardano Foundation, what our goals are in Cardano Foundation, how we work, and a host of other different things you'd like to know about Cardano Foundation. The second website I would urge you to go to would be developers.cardano.org. And here you can find a host of developer tools, how to build on Cardano. It explains, native asset integration, how to send transactions, how to create addresses, and so on and so forth. It also showcases all the ecosystem projects and a bunch of different gems as well. I urge you to visit those two websites for a good amount of information about Cardano, Cardano blockchain, and Cardano Foundation.
and we will also put them down in description. So for everyone listening to Jide, please go down in descriptions, and what the links that he said, it will be down in description. So don't you
Awesome.
worry.
So there are a lot more things I would like to talk about when it comes to that. I also spoke about the reports before, the 2023 annual report. We also have the 2023 annual report. Please make sure you try to read it because this will give you a comprehensive understanding of the achievements of Cardano Foundation for last year, and it would also build on some of the things I've spoken about. We also recently released a Cardano Academy, which is a very cool course that explains to you the concepts of blockchain, takes you from a beginner level to to intermediary to an advanced level of understanding of Cardano blockchain. So if you really want to know how blockchain works, specifically how Cardano blockchain works, I urge you to also check for Cardano Academy and to just sign up and you can start using the course. Everything is free. Everything is free for now. So academy.cardano.foundation.org is the website.
Jide, is there anything else you would like to share about the Cardano future projects and any final message for Cardano community? I mean, your community is huge, and what will be your final message to them?
Well, I want to emphasize the invitation for anyone intrigued by Cardano to engage with us directly. You could reach out to us on the website, cardanofoundation.org, or you could attend one of our events, right, to discuss with us and to, participate in our initiatives as well. Our community is vibrant. We are eager to help people, and we would love to meet you at the 2024 Cardano Summit in Dubai this October. In closing, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to the Cardano community for your passion, dedication, and support. Your contributions are invaluable in shaping the future of Cardano and realizing its vision of a decentralized and inclusive global financial system. Together, we can continue to push the boundaries of blockchain technology and create positive change in the world. Let's build the future of finance together.
Amazing, amazing. That is amazing, and we are more than happy to always be here for Cardano community and LBank community too. And in the name of the LBank family, I just want to thank you guys for accepting the call and coming on the LBank show. So for everyone listening, the links that Jide did mention will be down in the comment, and all the courses are free for learning blockchain. Indeed. Amazing, Jide. Thank you so
All
much,
right.
man. See you
Thank you very
soon.
much, man. It was a pleasure. Thank you.